Hey everyone. So, as I'm sure you already know, it looks like Meghan and Harry are splitting from the royal family. A couple days ago, the bombshell was dropped on the whole world, apparently before they even told the British royal family about it. So, ouch. Yeah, so I've got thoughts, lots and lots of thoughts. Before I get into those, I'm just gonna let you guys know like my personal history with the whole story. So I'm a sucker for mysteries. All kinds of mysteries, crime mysteries, political mysteries, typically real life mysteries. And this got my attention when I think I like read a comment on YouTube, maybe somewhere, maybe read an article. I don't even remember. It was probably, I don't know, maybe like a year and a half ago or so. I think after the royal wedding. So before the royal wedding and leading up to that, I was definitely not following the couple closely at all, but I remember being like happy, for Harry. I didn't follow the royal family that much. But I remember like being like, oh, cool. And I thought it was cool that she was like a mixed girl and whatever woman. Um, and I thought that was really cool and great. And then yeah, someone said something about them and like referenced, I think, the engagement video. So I went onto YouTube and I saw the engagement video, and just like a lot of other people, I was like, wait a second. What? Because they were just like really obvious lies and like really fishy things. And I don't know if you can feel energy through video, but like, I don't know, there's something in their eyes or something between them. I don't know what it was. I was just like, oh, this is weird. And then um, basically, over the course of time, things, well, anyway, well, things started to get leaked out and things started to just seem weird. So I got drawn into the story and I started to follow it a little bit more closely. Now then, now then, then we had the whole thing with the baby, Archie, right, and the pregnancy, and I um one of those ones on the team where I think she was never pregnant, and I think it was definitely really fake. And there were like, there's plenty of video footage if you want to go look on YouTube. I can recommend like a lot of channels. But I just thought, wow, this is weird. And I don't know, she just seemed really like fame hungry and everything. And a lot of things started coming out about her past, let's say her past, right? And there was a lot of drama around her family, et cetera, et cetera. So, based on like the way she treated her family, the way I felt like she just didn't love Harry for who he was, and I didn't even mean to be judgmental. I don't know, I just kept seeing little things, hearing little things, or whatever. And I kept my mind pretty open. I tried to look from the other perspective and everything, um, with each story, but I just more and more thought that things were suspicious and she just didn't seem sincere. And you can see that in people, especially if you're someone who's sensitive to that. But funny enough, like I tend to see good and people are see like the best side first, unless I'm like there in person reading a certain energy or whatever. So anyway, I follow the story a little bit closer. I try to be like, fair in my observations and everything, but it just gets weirder and weirder. And then there are a couple things that like I really just didn't like. Certain, some like her political connections, the fact that she was being political, the fact that like they felt the need, apparently anyway, to like modernize the royal family. And I don't know, I guess I'm an old soul, but like I like the royal family being traditional and old fashioned. I think a lot of people do. And I'm like, who asked her to modernize, or not her, okay? But like who asked them to modernize the royal family? Some people like everything modern. Some people like modern buildings. I think they're crap. I think they're ugly, So I'm like, I was a Kate fan. I've been a Kate fan for like years, but not a big fan. I didn't like follow her that closely, right? Like, oh, I liked her style and just like her manner, right? I'm not gonna get into that too much, but like, okay, so yeah, so then fast forward back to like the wedding and the pregnancy and then the whole drama around the birth. And it's just like suspicious thing after suspicious thing and all these things came out. Right. So long story short, I, boarded the Megxit train at some point, and then as things started to heat up, I was like, oh, like let me follow this closely. So I followed on YouTube, and then I just got back onto Twitter because things have been heating up so much. I was like, I need to keep, I want to keep up with it. Um, yeah, yeah. So okay, so and now I'm like I've been for probably over a year like a pretty gun ho Megxiter, and yeah. Oh, um, so then when they went to Canada and like skipped the holidays, like everybody was starting to like suspect, like more people were starting to suspect things, and people that had been following the story closely were like, something's going on, and we started talking about like maybe their relationship is falling apart and everything a while ago, right? And so yeah, so when they were in Canada, just a lot of things that came out were just weird and didn't make any sense and whatever. So bringing that back up to today. Today I read it's Phil Dampier. I follow on Twitter, and he said something about like to expect a pretty big news story to break. And then yeah, and then I think after that he said something about um it being tomorrow morning, or someone else said something about it being tomorrow morning. So today is Saturday, January 11th, and yeah, so that would be Sunday, January 12th. Then I was like, oh my gosh, like what is he talking about? So I went on his page or whatever, and he had another post a little over an hour ago now. What time is it? Yeah, ooh, it's midnight. So I guess later today, maybe some news will be breaking. So it's just after midnight, so January 12th. And anyway, so on his page, he said something about like they're getting together at Sandringham for this meeting. Um, what do you call? For this meeting with Prince William and Prince Charles, et cetera, et cetera. And it reminded him, because he's been covering the royal family for 33 years, it reminded him of the divorce talk in the 90s um, with Prince Charles and Princess Diana. So I really feel like he was trying to give a hint of what it is, which would totally confirm our suspicions for Team Exit that they're getting divorced. Now, I wouldn't really wish divorce on anyone. However, it just, this whole thing, like she seems so scheming, and just there's so many other things. I've just developed such a much more negative opinion about her due to like behavior and things that I've seen on film for my own eyes, or in front of my own eyes. That anyway, I've developed this pretty negative opinion of her, as a lot of us have. So not that I don't know. Typically, I wouldn't be like happy that someone's getting divorced, but I have to say, like she seems to be kind of winning at this game, and I yeah. I think I would be kind of relieved. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Okay, so uh hold on. Okay. Yeah, so a couple things that make me think that, or make us think that, is that when she was coming out of the National Theater the other day, right before she fled back to Canada, supposedly, she didn't have her engagement ring or wedding band on. Now, could she have been doing that to like make people talk? Probably. I think she's done that before. But it could also be that it was taken from her, or the divorce has already happened, or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, that was pretty interesting. And the fact that she ran off and went back to Canada by herself, if that's true, and it seems like, been confirmed from a lot of sources. I don't know. I just feel like unless things had totally fallen apart or totally like come to some kind of impasse, or they'd actually split. I just don't feel like she would do that. I feel like there was some kind of intervention and that she had to get out. Maybe some really big news is breaking. Could it be just a divorce? Could it be some of the other things that we're kind of waiting for to, come in to break? Things that we think. I don't know. Yeah. So maybe we'll wake up and we'll have this news. That would be really interesting. I'm not going to say it'll be good or bad or whatever, but that'll be really interesting. Okay, so another thing I just want to talk about really quickly before I finish up the video are my two theories of why this is all happening and what the whole deal is with Meghan and the marriage and why everything has been weird. The rushed wedding, the weird pregnancy, that's a different video, etc. Two theories. One, Harry kind of hired her for the job to get back at his family and the media for what happened to his mother and the way it was handled. He met her, they had some kind of conversations, and, he decided that she'd be the right one to have revenge on the family, to expose things, to whatever, get back at them in some way. I don't know. Or, well, I guess there's another kind of part to this. Or she just convinced him with her, like, manipulative ways, because I definitely think she's a manipulative, narcissistic person. Maybe she manipulated him into thinking that, like, she could help or she could make things better or, well, whatever. I'm not gonna get into that one. I'm gonna go to, like, the next principal theory that I think, and that is that this was a political move. Meghan seems to have some pretty powerful political connections, and I think she has backers. I honestly don't think she'd do any of this stuff or be nearly as bold if she didn't have really powerful backers and also have, like, a really lucrative backup plan. I don't think that she would have been so bold. The demands that they made on that website, how they came up with that website, all the shady stuff, like the website that they had, the foundation they had made, the company they had made, the fact that, like, there was a website made for Archie, like, before they were even married or something. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into all that, but I just wonder, with all her political connections, the Obamas, the Clintons, Trudeau, etc., and then her, like, super shady connections in Hollywood too now. And mind you, this stuff, like, all came up just since she, like, started dating slash getting engaged, getting married to Harry. So yeah, and that was all rushed. Really quickly, just touching on the whole, like, Archie thing. I'm one of the people that doesn't listen. I'm actually gonna say that in a different video because it doesn't really have to do with the topic. Um, just changed my mind. So, anyway, bear with me. I'll do another video on what I think about the whole Archie thing. That's been interesting. Also, really quickly, what's interesting that I heard lately, or that I read lately, is the fact that, like, in that story where they supposedly, like, helped out that couple on their hike, like, they were trying to take selfies, and they ran into Meghan and Harry, and they, like, helped them take a picture or whatever. Um, really funny because it said that they were with, like, her um, former co-star from Suits, and that there were three dogs between the two of them, or the three of them, right? And so I don't know. I'm kind of assuming, like, that probably means that she had dogs. I kind of doubt this girl, um, like, had three dogs. Anyway, kind of seemed like they had dogs there, right? And then just another story just came out today saying that, like, she was, like, they were flying their dogs to Canada. But they only came home for a few days. So did they, like, leave them in Canada, bring them to the UK for a few days, and then she flew back, and then the dogs flew back? Or did um, the dogs stay in Canada, and that second story is fake? It kind of reminds me of the story about, like, she left Archie and went to see Serena play, across the ocean to play tennis, and then later a contradicting story came out that like Archie came with her. Anyway, there's a lot of that stuff. I'm gonna leave it there. Just the whole thing with like she didn't have her wedding rings on. She went back without him. And this little hint by Phil, oh, what's his last name? Anyway, I said it earlier in the video that there's going to be a big story breaking tomorrow. So I think it could be a divorce. Not that I would necessarily wish that anyone. But anyway, bye guys. Tell me what you think. Actually, I wanna know what you guys think, and if you guys have any information. I don't know. And I will put some suggestions for some channels if you guys are interested in this story. Some channels that have a lot more information and are like well established. I'm brand new, so woo! Subscribe if you're interested and like if you liked it. Bye.